Yeah, I wouldn't really touch them, guys. So with that being said, let's move on to some men's basketball. We got the tourney starting up. A10 started yesterday. Mason played today. Unfortunately, our Mason guys, they did not. A slow start cost them the game. I believe they lost to St. Joseph's. I don't even remember the score, but
64 to 57.
Yeah, at one point they were down by like 20. Made a good comeback, and they were down by like I think 5 at some point.
It was 60 to 57 as close as they ever got, besides the very beginning of the game.
Ooh, so even closer than I thought. So yeah, they definitely had a chance. They probably just expended too much energy, and the slow start cost them. But we already went over some of these conferences. Let's see where we left off. I think we have to do the.
We're thinking we start at the Big 10, Big 12. Big 12 is where we start.
All right, what you got for us? What should the public know about this Big 12 tournament?
All right. So the biggest thing to know about the Big 12 tournament is pretty much the teams that are going to make the tournament are already in the tournament. There are going to be certain teams that need to make a run in this thing in order to change their narrative of their season. Is the best way to put it. If you want to be honest with you, I think the teams that make a run here, and it's going to come from both sides of the bracket. Houston does not care about this. I think Houston takes care of TCU, which TCU got the much-needed win they got over Oklahoma. I think that'll be important to them. I don't think that matters who wins TCU versus Houston. If you want to be honest with you, I think it'll be TCU just because Houston has so little to play for because they're pretty much almost automatically locked in as a 1 seed. So if you want me to be honest, I might take TCU in that game, but I still think BYU comes out of this side because I think BYU is trying to make a push up the ladder in order to get some headway into the tournament. Yeah, they're locked in, but they want to make some big movements. But if I'm going to take a winner out of this conference, I'm just going to go with Iowa State. Iowa State on paper is like top to bottom one of the better teams in the division, the conference. So if I had to take a winner out, I'm just taking Iowa State, and that's why I don't think it matters too much who comes out of Houston and TCU, which I think is going to be a big one. Because if TCU gets that one, they're pretty much guaranteed in the tournament.
Fair enough. I like it. Big 12 is done. Let's move on. I believe we're going to the Mountain West next.
Yeah, the Mountain West, I think, is a little bit more tricky because this conference is a gauntlet. Dude, everyone just beats everyone for some reason. Colorado State was ranked very highly early in the season and kind of significantly dropped. But if you want me to be honest with you, I still think Colorado State has a good chance to win the whole thing. Don't count them out. There are certain teams in this conference that kind of need to win, like UNLV. Their hopes for going far in the tournament, I mean, that all sits on this tournament and whether they can make some noise or not. Boise State, they're almost locked in, and I think they're locked in. I don't think they have much to worry about, so don't see them making a lot of noise. Utah State doesn't need to make that much noise. San Diego State, I think, is locked in. So if you had to give me an honest opinion, I did take Colorado State or UNLV. I know you can get good value for both of those. So if you're going to go for a long shot, take one of those. If you're being a little bit more safe-ish, take Nevada.
Nevada, okay. Don't follow much of the Mountain West myself, so I'm going to go with what you said there. Big East is up next. They're playing in MSG. Who do you got coming out the Big East?
The Big East. Now, there was a good game earlier against Butler and Xavier. Unfortunately, Xavier won. I was on the side of Butler. I kind of wanted to see Butler win so they can make kind of a run for the tournament. Pretty much that first-round loss. You don't have to worry about Butler. They're not getting in. Providence is currently destroying Georgetown, so you You don't really need to worry about Providence because they're going to get in with that result. I guess the only thing that we're speculating and looking into on this tournament are certain teams that are in the bubble. So teams like St. John's, Seton Hall, those are really it. Providence is still on the bubble, but if you want my opinion, the winner outright of this tournament is going to be Creighton. On a neutral floor, I think Creighton has the best team overall. I also believe that UConn is. I would tell you guys to take UConn. I just don't know how much value you're going to get out of taking UConn, and how much, I guess, care UConn is going to give this tournament. They're it's almost a guarantee they're number one. Like they're number one either overall or they're number one overall. Regardless of where they stand, they're pretty much just done locked in for number one.
Okay, nice, good stuff there. Big East, playing in MSG this week. On to the next one, guys. I believe we are Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Couldn't tell you who's in this conference.
You don't know.
No.
Well, there's not much talk that needs to be done on this conference. I'll tell you straight up who's going to win this conference. Take Quinnipiac.
Noted. I will do just that. Up next, who do we got? We got the Mid-American Conference. Playing in Cleveland. Okay.
Now, if you ask me if I can name any of the teams in this conference, I would tell you I couldn't. And because I can't, I'm going to go with the most notable name team I know on this conference, and that's just Ohio. I don't know much about anyone in this conference. I know it's the MAC. I know Buffalo's bad this year in the MAC. But I'm going to go Ohio, just because Ohio in the past has been one of those teams to make the tournament and then make a little sound in the tournament. Not noise. They don't make any noise. They just make a little teensy sound. You know, like when the spoon falls off the kitchen counter.
Fair enough. Like I said, I couldn't tell you anything out this conference myself, so.
It's not a very good one.
Let's move on to maybe a little bit better Conference USA, playing in Alabama.
This is a dangerous conference. I will straight up tell you that this one is going to be fun. You're going to see a lot of teams make pushes for their spot, I guess is the best way to put it, for a chance to have glory. But in the end, I don't think any of them are destined for any kind of glory. Telling you who's going to win this one, I mean, it's just straight up hard to tell you who's going to win this one. If I had to say, I would go either Louisiana Tech or Liberty, one of those two. But I can't really side with Liberty right now because, they started the season well. They just played poorly in conference play. New Mexico State, they're in there. They're always dangerous, but they're not really anything this year. So at the end of the day, I mean, you might see a team called Sam Houston make it to the NCAA tournament. And honestly, they're probably going to get in there as a 15 seed, and I think they're ready for the spanking they're going to get.
Fair enough. Let's go Sam Houston. Up next, I think we got another Power 5 up next. We got the ACC playing in Capital One. I might check out a game myself. Didn't even know they were playing Capital One until today. Some games kicked off today. I saw Florida State, Virginia Tech, and then Wake Forest. I forgot who else they played, but they played a little bit earlier today. So
right now, as it speaks, NC State's dogging Syracuse. We'll see if that actually turns out to be how it ends. I thought Syracuse was going to do a lot better than they are today, as I did bet on Syracuse. However, I did bet on Wake Forest to cover the spread, and they did a great job of that. Or, sorry, with the spread that I picked them at, I bumped it down a little. This morning, I picked Florida State to beat Virginia Tech. Good on that one. So moving on to the rest of this conference. I have a good gut feeling that Pitt makes a run because Pitt is in one of those teams that's sitting in the first four out. Um, I do see Pitt making sort of a baby run here. I do like Pitt over Wake Forest, solidifying Wake Forest to be eliminated from NCAA tournament play. Then I see Pitt making an upset over North Carolina in order to make that championship game. And if Pitt makes the championship game, I think Pitt's okay with that. I think Pitt will feel accomplished and fully achieve with that. On the bottom side of the spectrum, um, I think Duke will make it to the final, and I think an ACC championship out of this conference will be Duke. And the reason I think that is, I just think Duke has a lot more to play here than a lot of other teams. It's hard for me to believe that Virginia will make any kind of noise or kind of a run in this conference of play because they've gotten their ass kicked by a lot of these guys so far this year. So, sorry, not sorry.
They can't score.
It's just sorry, not sorry. I don't have much confidence in them.
Yeah, this is one of the worst offenses I've seen out of UVA. I'm not even a UVA fan, but I just watch them a lot, and they just cannot put up buckets, man. That's why they're getting their ass kicked so many times. So who do you got winning? Did you say?
I think I'm going with Duke. I just think Duke has a lot to play for in terms of seeding for the NCAA tournament. But I do like Pitt and I do like Pitt and Duke in the final.
Nice, very nice, right there. Let's move on from the ACC. Who do we have next? We have the Big West. The Big West. Don't even know who's in the Big West. Looks like there's a couple teams. Can I zoom out? Doesn't look like it.
I'm sorry. I don't think there's much zooming out you need to do. I think it's very easy to come by. It's going to be a UC Davis, UC Irvine, maybe, just maybe, Long Beach State getting into the final. But I'm pretty confident in UC Irvine just taking it all the way again, like they do pretty much every year. If Long Beach State doesn't do it, UC Irvine does it. UC Davis always had that problem with not being able to beat UC Irvine. So,
fair enough. Pac-12. What's left of the Pac-12? They got one more year of this thing. Let's look at the bracket here. Who do you got coming out the Pac-12?
Now, a lot of people have been saying their sleeper team to win is USC. I don't see that at all. They did beat Washington today. I guess that's a round of applause for them. I don't think they get past Arizona. I just don't see it happening. I think a good team to make some money on and hope for the best to win this whole thing is either an Oregon or a Colorado. Either way, you can see either one of those winning the whole thing. I think the biggest question mark is everyone still thinks Utah has like a little bit of legitimacy to make the tournament. They can't win on the road. And all this is going to be is winning on the road. So if you win an upset which you won't be able to take because it's today, which would be Arizona State to beat Utah. But I think Colorado, in my opinion, played hot towards the end of the season. Washington State looked beatable. And I just got Colorado winning it.
Nice, Colorado. I didn't even know they were good at basketball until this year. I saw they were ranked at one point. I don't know if they still are, but good for them. Let's move on from the Pac-12. We still got some more conferences to knock out. Let's go to the Western Athletic Conference, playing in Nevada. Who you got coming out here?
The WAC. Let me get a look at this WAC real quick. I'm not even gonna comment too much on this one. Give me the Grand Canyon University of Grand Canyon. Easy peasy, lemon a squeezy.
You heard it here, folks. Grand Canyon. Better put your money down on that. Moving on, we got the Ivy League. Who you got coming out the Ivy League for all these smart people?
No need to even dive into it. It's Princeton. There's no one else coming out of that conference other than Princeton.
Princeton. They ball. They ball at Princeton, y'all. All right, moving on. A-10. Like I said, Mason played earlier today. Some other teams played. Ooh. Can't get the bracket, apparently. This is kind of poopy.
They were some legitimate booty cheeks. There's no need to pull up that bracket either. I'll tell you straight up. The winner comes down between. There's a 404 error. The winner comes down between Loyola and Richmond. I don't think there's going to be a lot of question marks going around. That's your winner. It's either going to be Richmond or it's going to be Loyola. I think it was a legitimate move by Richmond to not play very hard against George Mason. I think their end of the season was senior night against St. Joe's. Will St. Joe's get revenge? No, I don't think so. I think Richmond takes advantage of them again. VCU and Massachusetts. I think Massachusetts takes care of VCU and kicks them out for good. And then I think Richmond will take care of Massachusetts. And then you go to Loyola, and Dayton will probably be playing, and the winner of that will be playing Richmond in the final. So it's Loyola, Richmond, or Dayton. It's your top three. There isn't much question marks about it.
Fair enough, right there. A10, our conference. Moving on, though, Southeastern Conference, SEC. Who do we got coming out the SEC? Which is, they're loaded in basketball too. Not just football, they're loaded in basketball as well, folks. Who do we got coming out the SEC?
I think the team that has to come out of the SEC is Kentucky. I think the team that will come out of the SEC is Kentucky. I think Kentucky has showed over the last part of the season that the beginning part of the season was, I'm not going to call it a fluke. They were just young and stupid. And I think over the course of the season, they've proven that they're less young and stupid as the season's gone on, which I think is a big, upside for them, because legitimately the only reason they looked poorish at the beginning of the season was the fact that they just looked young and dumb so many times.
Fair enough. For me, I would probably go Kentucky. Maybe Alabama makes a sneaky run, but I'm going to have to agree with you.
The only problem with the Alabama pick, they can't play on the road, and conference tournaments are all about winning on the road because you're in a neutral court. And I think that's just the downfall of Alabama. They just can't win outside of being at home, especially in big games. If there isn't another winner out of that conference, I would take Auburn. And you might be able to get some value out of Auburn.
American Athletic Conference playing in Fort Worth. Just open up this bracket. Second to last tournament we have to go over. Who do you got coming out the AAC?
Now, the AAC, the easiest one to pick would be, I think it's South Florida. South Florida's been on a crazy run. I think they've been undefeated for almost 15, 16 straight games. They are hot. Do I think they keep it in this tournament? I do not. There are going to be certain teams that need to win, a.k.a. Memphis. Do I think Memphis will win? The only problem with Memphis is their second-round matchup, or to them it is their second-round matchup to them, will be UAB. UAB can rebound the ball on the offensive side, and Memphis is very reckless and crazy with the ball. They're not known for being a great rebounding team. Do I think UAB can win the whole thing? No, I just don't. And UAB struggles offensively a little too hard. I mean, it's hard to even call a sleeper out of this. If I did, a shocker to this core would give me SMU. I think they're the 6th seed. Yep. You could probably make a lot of money on SMU, to be fair, but I'd probably just take Florida Atlantic.
Okay, fair enough. And our last conference, y'all. Last conference of all of our predictions. We get the Big Ten. Playing at the Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Who do we got coming out the Big Ten?
I was very low on them. I didn't think they were that good for much part of the season. I've kind of turned over a new leaf on them. Do I still think they make a magical run? I think the cards are set up for them to make a magical run. So the team I'm talking about is Ohio State as a number 10 seed. Yeah, I'm saying Ohio State is a number 10 seed. Ever since they fired their head coach, I want to say about 6 or 7 games ago, they've been hot. The last game of the season at Rutgers on senior night, they absolutely blew them out. They made strides and strides. They have pieces in order to win games. Their second round matchup against Illinois, I think, favors them just slightly. I'm not going to say they're outright just way better. They just are favored. They could just be favored at just a little bit more slight. So if I had to take an opportunity to take an underdog, to win the whole thing, to make some moolah, I would take Ohio State. Keeping it the buck with you. Now, if you want, a safer with my money kind of pick, take Illinois, because if Ohio State loses to Illinois is probably winning the whole thing. But if Ohio State gets around Illinois, you're probably going to wish you had made that pick.
Okay, a number 10 seed winning the Big Ten, or potentially. I like it. I like it very much. I don't know too much about the Big Ten, so I'm gonna ride with your pick there. I think that's it of all the conference champions. And then what Selection Sunday is this Sunday, right?
Yep.
All right, so probably I guess on Monday we'll probably go over the bracket and whatnot, and probably pick our winners on episode. I guess that's what we'll do. Because the tournament kicks off on, I guess technically Wednesday, right? Because the first 4 in is the day before Thursday, right? Isn't it Wednesday, Thursday, or?
It's the last 2 are Tuesday, Wednesday, and the first games are on Thursday.
Okay. So yeah, we probably will dedicate a good chunk of Monday to the bracket and whatnot. I will have my bracket filled out probably Monday. Hello there, and welcome to the MTL Sports Podcast. Thank you for watching this video clip of one of our most recent episodes. Please drop a like, drop a comment in the comment section below, and also please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with the most recent MTL Sports Podcast content. For those that don't know, we are also available on Spotify for those who listen audio only. Once again, thank you so much, and this is the MTL Sports Podcast. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here.